Wait, one question. When I click share, it says send request or replace current share. Which one do I pick?
We're live, Marina. If you check Slack, I'll ping you a message on that. Okay, folks. Hello and welcome to today's Q&A. Essentially a bonus town hall for you all around the Airbnb host-only fee. So yes, thank you for joining. As always, we are live streaming and recording today's session. So if you get disconnected at any point, head on over to our YouTube page. That's youtube.com/@hospitable. We're going to kick things off with an overview of what we have done so far with the host-only fee and what's coming next. Before we move on to Q&A from the audience. So without further ado, we have a few things to get through. So we're going to go straight over to PC to start things off.
Hello everybody, and thank you for attending this live Q&A session. We want to answer as many questions as possible that you may be asking yourselves about what is Hospitable doing, what does it mean, what do I need to do. We want to answer definitely as many questions as possible in the later part of this presentation. We do want to have a bit of a presentation first to tell us what we've been doing so far. But just to have a step back, the thing that we're trying to do here with this Q&A is making sure that we have everything in place to ensure this migration is being successful to everybody. And so first, what we wanted to achieve and what are the first principles that have been guiding us as we have been performing this migration. The job, the mission, as we communicated from, I want to say, the earliest opportunity, was to make sure that every host is receiving the same payout. Our obligation is to your bottom line, and we would not want to basically be left on the sideline, letting you have to sort it out on your own. And this comes at a good moment, I believe, for us and for other property management software, because Airbnb is actually facilitating us to do it by marking up your prices. Now, this is a word that you've heard and you've seen. Marking up means adding a certain percentage to what is your base price, your nightly rate on your property management software. And it's a feature that exists in every property management software to a certain level. The reasons why we can do it now in a way that's neutral for you, neutral for your guest, is that first, the search has been changing in the past few months with now Airbnb search showing all-in pricing worldwide. That was actually the rule everywhere outside of North America. This has been the case since earlier this year. So there is no differentiation on the search results depending on whether you are on a split fee or a single fee, meaning there is no longer any benefit for gaming one fee structure over the other. The other part is that it's with the new rate, it's not an increase on guest. It can be manipulated in a way that you can actually make exactly the same money without making that a huge difference. The fundamental thing that is changing is not so much the percentage that Airbnb is taking, it's just simply a structure. It's a change from column A to column B, no neutral on the guest, and should be neutral on you too, with a certain margin of error. This means the price is inclusive of commission for what is being set on Airbnb right now. And the last point, Airbnb is expecting hosts that are using a property management software to be marking up their service fee. So just want to say for the people, the hosts that basically feel like they are increasing their prices to the guest, no, you are doing basically what's normal at this point in time, and Airbnb is fully expecting you to be increasing your rate as a change of structure basically commands it. Airbnb is also having an incentive, and they don't want to have their service fee to be dropping as a result of you dropping your accommodation price down. So this is out of the question. The markup is the only way forward. Now, we had a plan, and like many plans, they don't survive contact with the enemy. We had 3 differentiating features or approach to how we're going to assist you as customers to make sure this host-only fee transition is as painless as possible. First of all, we give you access to a migration tool within the past few days that was allowing you to review the recommended markup, review the recommended changes, and basically adjust it if necessary for you. So we came up with a recommended price, recommended rate, and allow you to edit it ahead of the migration. That tool is no longer available because it has been consumed. We're now in a post-migration world. So there is no need for basically giving the transparency. We'll get back to you later on this, but this was an important tool to prepare on what's going to be happening. The second thing that we wanted to have different is having a bit more of a protective stance. In product terms, that means you can opt out, but it's not something that will require you to be opting in. What it means is that today we've been applying the recommended rate, even if you didn't jump on the migration tool, and even if you didn't approve it or do some particular action there. We believe that if we're not taking any action, we will be causing your revenue to be dropping 18% across the board, and this is not the thing that we actually want to be known for. The third part that is different, and definitely I wish I would have been thinking about it a little bit more rather than basically going on town hall and saying we're committing to this, is the fact that now those markups will be applying to fees. The commissions, especially cleaning fees. We've been working as an industry where the commissions on the host by Airbnb was just 3%. And the reality of it is that a lot have ignored the potential cash impact that represents. But at 15%, that's no longer the case. And so there are many users across our customer base that basically have been asking us to be increasing the cleaning fee automatically so that they can then readjust, making sure they receive the same payout. Otherwise, applying just the markup would not be sufficient. And we're going to have plenty to be sharing on this a bit later. That protective stance, to double click a little bit on this, is something that is unique in the industry. So there is a bit of a social experiment that we're doing, whether this was actually the right approach or not. And the problem is right now we've structured it in a way that we have the immediate short-term pain, while I believe no one is going to be commended across the alternatives that have decided to have their users manually editing everything to basically be seeing the measure of success. What I personally believe would not be quite right is to basically let every single one to their own, let you to update the fees manually yourself. Because I know that basically 12 months from now, there will still be many users that would not have adjusted the markup and will be looking at their property management software as the thing that caused their revenue to be dropping, which is not the intention of any party in the entire chain, not a host, no property management software, and not even Airbnb would do it. So I'm really curious from a social experiment perspective, what's going to happen to the operators on, for example, Guesty and Host-Away, to single them out, but it's been the case across the industry. Hospitable is the only one that has decided to take a protective stance so that you get paid out the same amount, even if you didn't immediately click on the review tools. Now, there is plenty that we have learned in the process. And so we are going to be rolling back certain feedback from this on communicating some earlier plans, some plans that we have. And that's why this may be a bit shaky, but there is some direction that we basically want to set. The realization that I have is, and the team has had, unfortunately, as a consequence of that outtake, is that making sure that hosts get paid the same has consequences, especially as we're applying it to fees. And so that is a change to the general scope of markups, that have always been understood to be as part of a nightly rate. I believe that now that the commissions are very significant across the board, there is a case to basically ensure there is a management of the fees with some markup. It doesn't mean that there needs to be this kind of tight relationship. The second thing is that markups are used for other reasons than offsetting commissions. Of course, we can have an understanding of basically the commissions that are paid as part of the host service fees across Verbo, Booking, and of course Airbnb, just the same as direct. But there is also another component of it that is basically strategy to basically promote a particular channel over another. And that obviously should be the case for your direct booking website that are cheaper, and you don't want to just get paid the same. You want to extract a bit of a premium while passing off some discount as well to your guest. The third part was particularly loud for us in the past few weeks, for the past 2 weeks, which is that property managers, of course, have their own arrangement with owners. And that is something that we may be able to help, and we are able to help whenever Hospitable has an understanding of those arrangements between managers and owners. So Emily with the Mogul team will be sharing a little bit what's being done for property managers that are on Mogul, where Hospitable itself is generating the owner statements and in being involved in a relationship between managers and owners to make sure that there is no pain for them as well. The problem is a bit of that messy middle when you have self-managers that probably would not benefit from changing the setup that we have, the property managers that are on Mogul that will have the revenue, the owner statement that they would expect for reservation before the cutoff or after the cutoff. But there are all those users that are property managers, but we don't know that because we're not in the owner statement loop that have those kind of arrangement with owners, but outside the scope of our product. So we're going to have some solutions for everybody, of course, about the impact that those fees have on property managers. And also, yeah, we need to help on setting the fees simply because there is a lot going on to ensure you are netting out the same. But also, yeah, I mean, that's probably something we'll be talking out a bit later. Now, the agenda for this Q&A will be covering with Marina what we've done so far to cover our host in the migration, again, with this protective stance. We are going to run through an early release of the new fix section that's available on the property details. That's connected with a town hall that we're having on Wednesday, where I recommend you join again, because there's going to be a full presentation of new listing management features. Emily will run through how that markup, that host-only fee migration, is being handled on Mogul for property managers, specifically with a view as to fees, and what we'll do to address the feedback that we received a little bit later. There are probably going to be some corrections we're going to need to do. The idea for us is to make sure this is meaningful, not impactful, and not causing you more work. So we have a little bit of a roadmap ahead of us at Hospitable. Now, I'm going to pass it on to Marina, that is going to basically run through what we have done so far to be helping you on this host-only fee migration.
Hello, everyone. Let's start with talking a little bit about the tool that we had. So we had a tool that was available for everyone to actually make you able to see what kind of host fee you had for your properties, what markup you had, and what markup we recommend for you so that you keep your payouts the same in the end. So in this tool, you could go and you could see a recommendation, and if you didn't like it, you could set your own, and you could see which will be the impact on your payouts. And then we committed to migrate everyone on the 27th to migrate everyone on the 27th so that you were not impacted when Airbnb moves you from the split fee to the service fee. So how was the migration yesterday? We had 16,933 hosts that we migrated yesterday. And that is a very big number. So it actually took us 8 hours to migrate everyone's new prices and fees. And we know some of you asked why are we being migrated a little bit early, and that's because we need to ensure that when we finish, everyone will be migrated before Airbnb actually switches you to the split fee, to the host-only fee. However, we're monitoring, and we still have over 14,000 hosts who haven't been migrated from the split fee to the host-only fee. So we're still waiting for Airbnb to migrate everyone. We have received a lot of questions about Airbnb co-hosts. So what we wanted to say is that we took the protective stance and we wanted to make sure that your payouts are protected and that they will remain the same. However, we do know that depending on your co-host setups, you might now have to adjust your cleaning fees. So that is why we are going to be releasing listings management, the fees section, a little bit early. We are going to have a town hall for it on Wednesday, releasing everything so that you can manage your listings from Hospitable. But today, we want to make sure that you can manage your fees so that if you have to do adjustments, you can do it from Hospitable. And costing is going to be demoing it.
Hey everyone, can you all hear me? Let me share my screen. So we've rolled out this new pricing page to everyone today. It's part of our listings management project. It's a step in the right direction. It's not a finished version yet, but we are releasing it today so that you can see the changes that we've made to the fee structure and what happened behind the scenes with the fees being increased during the host-only fee migration. So what is fundamentally changing is that we are allowing you to set different fees for different platforms. Before, you were in one or another scenario where you either had your Airbnb fees pushed from Hospitable, but in that case, the direct fees were aligned to your Airbnb fees, and there was no option to set separate fees. We were also not managing your Booking.com fees. You could also have had one scenario where the Airbnb fees were disconnected from your direct fees. That meant we weren't updating fees on Airbnb anymore for you. So all that is getting fixed now, and you are now able to set the same cleaning fee or different cleaning fees for your Airbnb booking or direct listings. So what you see in this page, all the inputs that you see in this new fees page are net fees. So the amount of fees that comes before applying markups to those amounts. In the process of creating this new improved pricing page, we've also pulled down your fees from Booking.com, so you don't have to go in Hospitable and set them up again. We've already done that for you, and you already have the values that you were using for Booking. If the values were the same as for Airbnb, you would see the fees aligned. If not, you'd most likely see a different value for Booking.com. So in the most simple scenario, if you use one single value for all your platforms, say you want to set your cleaning fee to 100 euros, You have this option here to see what guest sees, and that means that we are marking up this amount with your current markup on Airbnb and on Booking. The amounts that you see here are the amounts that we are pushing to Airbnb and Booking. Alternatively, you have the option to edit per channel and set the cleaning fee that you want for each individual channel. So say you want to set a slightly different cleaning fee for direct or booking.com. And we would also show you here what the amount after markup is. This part here where you're only able to edit your fees before markup. We are aware that it may be a little difficult for you to make the calculations, and we are working on an improved version. But this is what I'm presenting you now is what you're already able to see in your accounts. And we have more updates. We will have more updates about this in our listings management update on Wednesday. But for now, we want to give you an opportunity to see exactly what's been changed, to see that Airbnb likely has a different value now, the increased value, because we've only increased your Airbnb fees, but we've not increased your booking.com fees or direct fees. So you're able to see that and control that on a per platform basis. And yeah, have full control from that point forward.
Okay, just a few things there because it's basically a little bit busy in the chat, and I think rightly so. If you add 142 on, just thank you for stopping the sharing just at the right moment. But just basically, we mark down the prices so that on Hospitable we can reconstitute the same cleaning fee that you had set on the platform. There was no change on Booking platform, on Booking or on Direct at all. We just make sense of them with basically by marking it down, and then whenever we apply the markup, it basically is applied. That's something that we're going to change. We're going to come back on this a bit later. What you can do now, which you could not do earlier, is that you can adjust all your fees for Airbnb, for Booking.com, for direct bookings directly from Hospitable. So that basically is the new thing that you have now available today. And you can say whenever you're done, please make sure you save the buttons, you save the fees as well. There are a few things that we noticed a bit earlier that we don't like, so there will be some adjustments. That's the case, for example, for some fee that show a breakdown that's not quite correct. Okay. So that is basically on listing management. Now, for the property managers that are on Mogul, there's also plenty of things to share. Emily, that's on you.
All right. Okay. First of all, if you are not a property manager, it's probably best that you just tune out while I'm talking because this is going to be more confusing than it's worth. But if you're a property manager, you will understand. So as this change approached, we heard from a lot of you in our community, especially from those of you who manage properties for others and have owners to be accountable to. One customer who I've quoted a lot internally laid out their concerns very clearly to us. They said, if we up the cleaning and pet fees, we're basically giving ourselves a raise at the owner's expense. And we've heard this feedback. And as a result, we're going to be making a meaningful change to how we report fees on owner statements. So I'm going to go over the nitty-gritty in a second, but the message that we want you to hear is this. If you're a property manager and you're using Hospitable's owner statements or invoices to determine how much you owe your owners, we have got you covered. So here is how. Owner statements are now, nope, last screen, sorry. Yep, okay. So owner statements are now going to be reporting fees net of host service fees. This is going to be happening for any reservation that was booked after those fees on that particular channel were increased. So if it's booked today or after on a channel whose fees we manage. So this will be happening on Airbnb, Booking.com, and Direct. It will not be changing for Vrbo reservations. And whoever is responsible for paying that service fee whether it's you or your owner, is going to benefit from the increase of that fee. So I have an example to the right in this table with the easiest math I could come up with, where the guest pays a cleaning fee of $115.50. But your cleaning fee that you will actually receive net of platform service fees is $100. So we want to make sure that if it's in your agreement that you as the property manager receive that cleaning fee, that you're receiving the amount net of service fees. If in your agreement you have it configured that the owner is responsible for paying the host service fees, they will then be responsible for paying that $15.50 service fee that was charged by Airbnb on the cleaning fee. But we will also be giving them the difference that we increased the fee by to cover that difference. So essentially, we're making sure that you are not benefiting as the property manager unintentionally from an increase of fees, which was done with the intention to actually offset the platform service fees. So that is the change that will be going into effect for reservations that are booked after the fee was increased on the channels whose fee that we support. I know there's going to be a lot of questions about this. You guys may see it in your upcoming owner statements when you're reviewing those. So please feel free to reach out and we share your feedback in the community in the meantime.
Yep, and that's back to me. So what's going to change after we heard quite a bit of feedback? So those are suggestions, but it seems like basically we're getting some agreement, including internally, that basically this seems correct. So the first part right now, and it's basically a company-wide effort, is focused on making sure the migration is a success. So as we shared earlier, it seems that right now Airbnb has not been pulling the plug. We have set the prices, annual fees, to basically protect you once this is done, so that the disaster scenario that we're optimizing against is basically making sure you don't have reservations. That way you receive lower payout than you otherwise would have yesterday. So Airbnb will be performing the change. We have no information when precisely that's going to happen, but we're expecting that to be quite quick. We have to push prices for every single night for every single property that is connected to us. However, Airbnb just has to change one setting, that one value in the database across entire accounts. So the reality is that once the button is pushed, it's going to be very quickly visible on your account. Right now, you've seen 14%, 14,000 hosts right now, connected accounts basically are still on the split fee. What we are also facilitating today with the release of the listing management and especially the fee section is the fact that you can now edit your cleaning fees. Now, it's not the most convenient way to be doing this thing. We get it. It's still based on a markup calculation. So what it means is that we basically have marked down the prices that were on booking, so that on Hospitable and on Hospitable only, what you are seeing is actually the price that you'll be receiving. And we've learned it's not quite right. It's not quite correct. It's not even the right way of thinking about markups. And so what you need to do is basically do the math, which is basically dividing by the municipal area. We're going to have to come up with a better explanation for this so that you can have that settled next to a cup of tea to basically do the math right. But basically, you will now able to set a cleaning fee that you would like. The way it works is basically this is the price that we're expecting you to be receiving, rather than the price that the guest is seeing on the platform. We will be changing that, and that's basically part of the next step so that you have direct visibility onto what the platform fee is. So that if you want a guest to be seeing 150, you'll be able to set 150. No markup calculation of any kind. It goes a little bit against, and what we're going to share on Wednesday, one of the things that we really wanted for listing management, which is basically reconciling all the different values from all the different platforms onto one single input field. But it may not actually be a wise move in any case. So we are going to give you an easier experience starting later to basically be able to set the platform fees. Now, that's something that we need to ensure we are clear on, and there is no problem on that. But this is basically the thing that we're going to be working on, the connectivity team with Costin and Marina, immediately after Wednesday. So there is going to be definitely a little bit of window of time where the experience of changing your fees will not be quite right, will not be quite the best that we want to do. On Wednesday, on the town hall, you will see more features that are part of listing management. If we can go back on the previous slide, I'm not finished yet, we will be able to have some more features. So that's basically the ability to edit your property details and more things that basically are tied with listing management. In the future, we've also discovered a lot of other usages for markups. That, for example, was used as a very quick way to increase your prices depending on for each platform. That's a very smart usage. It's not quite the one we contemplate when doing markups. It's expected to be changed very rarely because there is not much to be changing. But it means there are some opportunities here in our own product. We don't know exactly quite what the experience would be looking like. It's not a this week thing. Hopefully it's come within the next 2 to 3 weeks. It's going to be a way to bulk edit all your attributes tied to the property within one comprehensive experience. So that if you want to set a cleaning fee to 150 on Airbnb across your entire portfolio, you can do that. So this is going to be coming a bit in the future. There is a lot of work that we want to do on the listing management to make sure it's done well, and you can trust that basically everything is going to be set correctly on the booking platforms as well. And I want to thank every user that's been part of the private pilot that we initiated on the occasion of the previous town hall, because their feedback was very valuable. Now, we do have quite a few questions that we have compiled, and thank you to everybody that's now on the posting that question to the Q&A. We're going to need to come up with a smart way of addressing all of those, because I realize we have plenty of product involvement, but probably not enough on the support side to be fielding all the questions that you're having. Some questions that you've had so far, and we can start with the first one. This one is actually cancellation feedback. As you can anticipate, there are some users that are definitely a bit distraught by the change of fees, with the perspective that maybe they're paying 5 times more and they have to drop their rates. So this is one of those cancellation feedback. We know that many property owners in our market own 1 or 2 properties, and they do not use property management software, so we're staying with split fee and disconnecting from Hospitable as a property management software. Turns out there is actually nothing to gain from this particular setup. The fee from the other users, from the Hospitable or PMS users, and the one that do not, will still be displayed absolutely the same. And especially with the markup, we're just making sure that you realign and you're not having basically a 15 or 18% discount, depending on how you look at it, to your fees, to your nightly rates, etc., to your accommodation price. So the job of the property management software is to make sure that you can also distribute your inventory to multiple channels. If you are frustrated at Airbnb increasing their rates, that's probably a great time to be looking on direct or distributing to other booking platforms. So that's one particular consideration. How does this change integrate with dynamic pricing? I think for this one, I'm going to need some help. So I'm going to ask for Andrew to be stepping in. How does this change integrate with dynamic pricing?
It's not affected. So dynamic pricing is not integrated with markup rates. We're talking about any dynamic pricing engine, not just Hospitables. It's basically a wash. When you talk to the dynamic pricing apps, they assume a markup rate is applied. They don't have access to that number, but they know what's happening. They can see what your bookings actually happen at, so they know the price of your bookings, and it'll take them a little bit of time to adjust to this change in markups, but there's nothing you have to do. There's nothing that you really can do. Actually, it's just going to take a little bit for the model to adjust, but it works out in the end. So no action is required.
Absolutely. One of the reasons why we've decided to be opting in for a protective stance is, however, to make sure there is no pricing shock. Imagine that basically other property management software are not doing like Hospitable and therefore requiring some manual input from their users to be setting the rates. That may mean that dynamic pricing software or revenue management software basically are pulling data from Airbnb and are seeing a collapse in the nightly prices. And that may then come into play with recommendation from PriceLab for your own properties to be dropping the rates. So this is why we're taking the protective stance, the one that is neutral on the guest, neutral on the host, is the best way forward as an industry, not just for Hospitable users, although obviously we have them first in our hearts. The next question that we have on the slide, what happens to promotions after the migration? This one is a very interesting one. Maybe Marina or Andrew can step in as well. Let's keep the video on, so because it's gonna be the game here.
Okay, I can answer that.
Yeah.
So the promotions, they take into account the past 60 days of your base price. So we have actually escalated that to Airbnb because everyone will be increasing their prices. There's only if you forget to increase, and then you're going to be taking like 15% off of your payout to pay the service fees. We don't want that. So we escalated that to Airbnb, but unfortunately, right now we don't have an answer from them. So what they said is that for the next 60 days, we actually promotions are not going to be displayed for basically almost everyone. They said that they might come up with something, but we still don't have a final answer from them.
Yeah, so this is an issue on their side where they're looking at the prices that you're sending, not the overall price to the guest, because in the end of the day, the overall price to the guest is barely changing if you're just moving the fee structure, right? So guest price should not change, but this promotion is something that the merchandising of showing it that it's the discounted over the 60-day median price. That's something that you're just going to have to wait for them to catch up if you're running a discount, and because it's not going to be able to compare to a comparable price from Airbnb's standpoint, which is not fair. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we'll stay tuned. There is a more technical question here. Why were the migration started a bit earlier and not at midnight? So expecting that basically would be updating the prices, so marking up your prices with the 18% that we recommend, or more or less, depending on what you've configured, but also your fees. So Marina, I think this one is on you.
Yeah. So we try to understand with Airbnb when they would start the migration exactly, so we could time it, but we didn't actually get like an answer of like when the migrations would start. They said they would be like rolled out during the day, and we didn't know which ones of you would be migrated exactly when. So we tried to be more protective and start a little bit earlier so that we don't risk that when the migration actually starts, that you're not prepared for it. Also, I shared earlier that we took 8 hours to migrate everyone. So yeah, that's why it started a little bit earlier, so we could finish it in time.
And it's not because we're slow. It's just because there are a lot of properties, there are a lot of values for a long time period. And so therefore we wanted to make sure that everyone would have the right calendar set up by the time Airbnb, I want to say, wakes up in San Francisco and is pushing the button, but without any idea when the button is going to be pushed. Okay, let's look at the next question. I've checked on my Hospitable calendar and nothing has changed. Where can I confirm the fees have been raised? I'm going to have this one for Andrew. It's an easy one.
Sure. Yeah, what you see in a Hospitable calendar is your base rate that is before markups. The change that we're looking at is what happens after we apply markups. So you would need to actually look on your booking platform to see that the rate has changed. So that 18.34% that most of you have been recommended to take, that gets applied on top of what you would see in your Hospitable calendar. You need to check the channel, the booking channel, for that.
Absolutely. You get the price that's maybe configured on Hospitable is the price you get paid. Next slide. I think we do have again a few questions. Yeah. So we will basically address some questions from now on. So basically raise your hand, and we'll basically have you live on stage. But we're still going to be here on the community. So there is a specific topic. I think Miles, you want to add some things?
No, I think that's exactly it. I was just going to jump in and help moderate the Q&A. So yeah, I think maybe there's one more slide. So as always, just pinging up some helpful links. Obviously, the community is a great place to go if you do have more questions. If there's any other support questions you do have, we have links there for you too. But with that being said, we'll move over to the audience Q&A. So if you are joining us live on Zoom, you can raise your hand to join us on stage. If you go down to the React button at the bottom of your screen and in there click raise hand, I will call you out by name, and at which point I will ask you to unmute your audio, please. And then you'll be able to talk and ask us your question live.
That would be great.
Sweet. So let's move over to some honest Q&A. Okay, Chris, I am inviting you on stage to ask your question. Hello, Chris. Can you unmute and hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Fantastic. How can we help you?
Hi, thank you so much for taking this time to explain everything to us. Really, really appreciate it. I know it's very, very confusing for a lot of people. The question I have was, because I feel pretty confident that the market will tell me what, rates I should be setting them at based on what I want my occupancy to be. Is there any way to opt out of Hospitable raising all of my rates by the 18%? If that question makes sense, I'll mute again.
Yes. So you're fully in control. What we did is we took action to protect host revenue, and you had a period there where we were showing this migration tool where you could see what we were going to do, and you could overrule us then. If you didn't take any action then, in order to protect your revenue again, we took action on your behalf. But now you have control again. So you can go into your property pricing and Hospitable. You can change your markup rates at the platform level, at the listing level. Both of those are options. You can now look at your fees on the channel level, and you can change those fees. So we did one thing, which was to take action on your behalf, and we gave transparency and visibility into what we're going to do so you could take action ahead of time. We took that action now, so everyone has been migrated. That change has happened, but you are always in control of your pricing. So now you can go in Hospitable and you can change what we did. You can change to a different markup rate. You can change your calendar pricing. You can change your property fees. Those are all things that are in your control. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's excellent. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thanks, Chris.
And to be clear, there are a few migrations that are happening, and I want to make sure we understand each other. The one that we're still waiting for at this point in time is for Airbnb to push the button and make sure that all Hospitable PMS users, but also other PMS users, are basically migrated to the host-only fee. And that's basically a change for all North American users predominantly. There is also another change that is happening, which is basically the change for people that were already on the host-only fee from 15 to 15.5%. So there is a slight adjustment to their markup that was also made so that everybody is being covered here. The one that we're talking about is the fact that we've set up your calendars a little bit in advance for Airbnb to set up your rates and fees in a way that basically makes sure that on the next reservation that's coming post the migration, then you're able to have a similar payout. So that's the migration that has occurred.
Can we address a question that I'm in the Q&A most of this time? Keep asking, should I go ahead and change now from the split fee to the host fee now that Hospitable has migrated my pricing? My recommendation is yes. I'm happy to have any disagreement from my colleagues here, but you should go ahead and change now because yes, we migrated ahead of time. For this brief period, your rates are probably non-competitive because Airbnb would still be applying that 14%, 15% guest service fee on top. So if you want to be proactive now, you can go into your Airbnb account settings to the payments and the service fee section, and you can go ahead and change to the host-only fee now because you've already been priced for the host-only fee. So you should go ahead and change. Otherwise, we don't know exactly when the Airbnb side will happen. Sometime today, we imagine.
Thank you very much for the clarity there, Andrew. Okay, next on stage we have Mindy. Hello, Mindy. Inviting you on stage. You can unmute and ask your question.
Hey there. Thank you so much. I really appreciate how Hospitable has gotten ahead of everything and helped us with this. It's been really, really smooth for the most part. The only thing I wasn't aware of was how the individual fees were going to be marked up. So last night, thinking I was needing to do this, I went into all my fees and manually marked them up. And I didn't see this new layout of the pricing tabs that I see now. And then this morning, I got a booking for one of my properties, and the cleaning fee was dramatically off, and the management fee that I had was dramatically off. I'm guessing it's because I went ahead and marked things up yesterday, but it was a lot lower price than it should have been. And then I see the pricing pages, so I went in there and I think I have it. I realized that you just have to put in your regular cleaning fee, not the marked up, and you guys do that automatically. But then it wasn't saving for me. I would go out, or I'd go along the tabs to the discounts and the security deposits and come back and double check the fees,
Yeah.
and it would revert back. It wouldn't save.
Yeah. That's a good thing. Do you have a save button on the top? That's one other thing on the earlier is I don't know if there. I think I saw also some feedback in the chat that there are some things that are not quite right. So I know that Alex and the connectivity team are looking into it. This is an early release, so unfortunately I will apologize profusely for a little bit of time. It's basically a release that's gonna been happening. I've noticed it myself. I know it's basically a little bit slow on the saving, but actually for me it was able to save. So it just basically, those are things that we're looking on in our bug monitoring. So basically we go to the bottom of those issues as soon as possible to make sure that you actually have the ability to be editing your prices. But you got the fundamental, it's right on the price that you set is basically the price that you are expecting to be receiving net of markups. We'll be performing a change to that interface later this week, hopefully at the earliest, where we're going to be able to allow you to set the price that you see on the platform without any calculation. So that basically you have a marketable value to display on Airbnb, on Booking, and on Direct as well.
One more question. So above where it has the Airbnb cleaning fee, the direct booking cleaning fee, above that, it just has another box that's for cleaning fee, and the value that's kind of shaded out in gray is not the same as my cleaning fee. And then below that, there's an underlined use one value. Is there anything to do with that I might be doing wrong? What do you do with that box?
So that's where we kind of want to have a little bit of a conversation internally, because there are a few things that we believe are going to change. As we're going to share on Wednesday, the original idea over listing management was that you can have one value for your cleaning fee, the money that you're expecting to be receiving, and then we do the math and calculate basically what that fee should be on Airbnb, on Booking, etc. There are plenty of advantages. There is also an understanding that's a bit naive, because it's not really just a commission offset. It's also a bit of a strategy component of which channel you want to basically favor. And so that would not actually have worked in the first place. We realized that a bit later. It's very easy to say. It's actually not so easy to realize when you're working on it. So that fee that's now disabled, I think we're going to need to think a bit ourselves about basically what do we want to have, because the reality is that what you care about more is there is an understanding of the price you want to set on the platform, which is something that you need to be able to edit, and the money that you're going to be making. So as different booking platforms have different fees on host, we want to tell you how much money you're going to be making, but that doesn't have to basically be exactly a one-on-one relationship in this. So there's going to be an upgrade to our listing management user interface. That's going to be coming later, where we basically are making that a little bit more visible. The vision that we have for now is basically give us how much you're going to want to get paid. We're going to recommend a value, and then you basically can adjust it however you'd like.
Got
but
it.
for now,
Thank
there's
you.
nothing. And just, you have a use one value. It's not actually something I would recommend for you to be using. I think it's gonna be changing. You have a what guest see, which is basically the price that you're gonna have, the price that is being displayed by pushed by Hospitable to your booking platform, and you can edit per channel to set the channel, the cleaning fee on a per channel basis.
Moving on to our next hand raise, Jean, inviting you on stage. Hello, Jean.
Hello, Jean. You need to unmute yourself with audio button. Hello, how can we help you?
Hi. So, okay. So last night, we went into our price labs and adjusted it based on what the recommendations were from Hospitable for the markup. And so today it just seems like we're overpriced. We're our prices are too high. And I don't know, were we supposed to leave just Price Lab alone and let Hospitable do what they were going to do? I don't know.
Yeah, that's normally a recommendation. So where we sit and what's happening is Price Labs is connected to Hospitable. So Price Labs send us a recommended price for your property, which might contain many listings, which all have different commissions, right? So you use your markup rates in Hospitable to then take the price recommendations from Price Labs and apply that markup rate. So that 18.34%, we're going to apply that on top of the prices we get from Price Labs. That's why you're seeing kind of like a double counting of that, right? That's not what we recommend doing. Set the markup rate in Hospitable, let Price Labs run its own recommendations, and it will adjust to the markup rate you have in Hospitable in a very short order, very short amount of time. But we'll apply that after Price Labs. Yeah.
Okay, so I should just go back to Price Lab and put my base
Yeah,
price back the
exactly.
way. Okay,
Exactly.
thank you.
Yeah. Let us manage the channel differences. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
That's kind of also one thing that we're learning. That is, we obviously have hosts that are very eager to have control and are hands-on. And as a result, our approach are basically, you can go on a vacation and have a margarita and we're taking care of everything. Actually doesn't work all the time. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Gene. Bev, you are next on stage. Hello, Bev. Please unmute yourself and let us know your question.
Hi, I'm in the UK, as you can probably tell from my accent. But I'm working with a lady who lives in Texas. And I've been sort of monitoring what's going on all day. And I've got a real fuddy going on within Hospitable. When I go to the new pricing screen, depending on how I get to it, I'm seeing two different cleaning prices.
What's the right one?
I haven't a clue.
That's an interesting one. So I think that's why we want to change the listing management user interface to make sure that it kind of makes sense. Right now, what you should click on is what guests see as part of the cleaning fee, and you have the price that you have actually set or that Hospitable has been setting on the platform.
What I have here is on my computer, I have the same URL open on the same property on two different screens, and I'm getting two different values for the cleaning fee. One is saying 325, the other one is saying 375, and then when you look at what the guests see, it's saying 444, and on the other one, it's saying 384. So I haven't got a clue how I've managed to get both of these different fees showing, but I can do it at random.
Interesting.
It's a bit difficult for us to diagnose since you're not able to share your screen. I would recommend confirming what price is showing up on Airbnb so you can see what the current cleaning price is. And you can try editing. Yeah.
I know what price is showing on Airbnb, and it's the one that's based on the 375, but where am I picking on screen this 325 up from somewhere?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to tell you.
Can I send you some screen dumps?
I would love to follow up with you to understand what's happening and make sure that it shows the correct amount for you. If you can type your email.
We've got Bev's email, don't worry. So Bev, we can follow up with you after the call, and Marina will take a look for you.
Okay, Brill. I won't be around for much longer now because it's coming up 7 o'clock for me. I need to go and cook my supper.
Okay, no worries.
That's fine. Yeah,
We'll
take care of it and investigate on our side. Thank you, Bev, for sharing that, and thank you, Marina, for taking it on. Okay.
Awesome. Moving on to the next person, we have Kim. Hello, Kim. Welcome on stage.
Hello, Kim.
Don't forget to unmute as well, please, Kim.
You need to click the button on the bottom left. to unmute yourself. Here we go.
There we go.
Bryce and Kim, can you hear us now?
Yes, perfectly. How can we help you?
All right. So trying to just confirm the steps that we need to follow because we're looking at several places. I know there's settings under Hospitable where we have markup. Then I went to the properties, and when I go to the properties and pricing there, the markup is actually different. So I'm trying to figure out and reconcile what we actually need to change. When we just logged in, it was initially showing 3% on the settings markup page.
Sure. So you've got, like you found two different levels of markups. One in your Hospitable settings is your platform markup that applies to all properties and all listings of that platform, unless you overrule it on the property level. So when you go into the property and you see your listing markups there, if you edit that value, that will overrule your platform markup. So if you've done that and maybe, there was a value saved there, that's overruling your platform settings.
Okay.
That makes sense?
So the best place to do it if we're just doing, we only have one property. So essentially I want to do it under settings and properties and use those numbers then. And
that will be the source of truth, yes.
Okay, and then go to the property and then remove the other settings or remove that value from there so it won't double.
If you get it correct on your property, if you get it correct in your property, that will be the correct value.
Yeah, Kim, those are alternative values. Those are not in competition or adding up.
Yeah.
The price that you see on the property, the markup, if it's set on the property level under the listing markup section, is the markup that we're going to be using for that particular listing.
Okay.
And then it's basically a default for every other listing that doesn't have a value explicitly set.
So I should just clear them to get the settings to come over from the overall settings.
If you want to, yes. I just want to tell you, Kim, you don't have to be doing anything. I think that's probably a good way to lead things because you seem eager to be performing a change. You can, if you want to, adjust the listing markup. If you want to manage that as a channel markup, as it seems you have just one listing, you can also erase the value on the listing markup and then reset it up on the channel one. But I think, but there is basically a lot of effort for things to not change.
Okay. Yeah, I was just seeing a discrepancy between the two. That's why I was trying to.
That's fine. Those are two different scopes. If you want to adjust the value, just go straight on the listing markup and set the percentage that you would like if you believe that's not correct or no longer the value you married with.
Okay. And then my other question, I think got answered in the chat that any reservations made before today would still be under the old fee structure, essentially. And it sounded like I wasn't in the beginning. Airbnb has not necessarily made this change yet. It's supposed to happen later today. That's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're double correct. Reservations that were before the migration, whatever it is, basically are still going to be applying. You still would going to have a split fee or the previous host-only fee that's going to be applying to you. After that, that's where we're going to see the change to the breakdown. Right now, you're completely right, Kim. We don't see Airbnb pulling the trigger just yet on the listings for the host-only fee migration on their side.
But if once we kind of do, we would see the adjusted price because right now I'm looking on Airbnb with the markup and it doesn't look like the right calculation, oddly enough. Because we've got the 18.34 or something. And we noticed like our cleaning fee didn't go up by that amount. It went by slightly less. It went up by like 16% or something. So we're seeing some mathematical errors that don't make sense.
So I think we're going to need to troubleshoot basically what's happening unless Marina has something to come into play.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask you if you had markup set up before the migration, if you had another value. Like
it was at 3% when we first looked at it this morning. So we just.
But on Friday, did you have like a markup value before?
I mean, I think we've had one at 3% the whole time.
Yeah, so that is why. So when we we migrated everyone, we wanted to take into account that you had a markup before. So we marked down your fees so that when we mark it up, we're not like increasing too much. So that's why sometimes it's not the full percentage, because you had those fees before on a 3% markup.
So what you're saying, rather than 18.34, if you already had a 3%, you should be at like 15 something.
I don't have the right math right now,
Now,
but
whatever that math is. Okay.
yeah, but it changes because of that.
Okay.
I'm curious
Okay.
to Kim about the math. I know we came up with that, but yeah, that sounds interesting. Okay, let's go to another one. I kind of would like to go with a few more questions,
Yeah.
if that's okay with you, Andrew and Miles, and Marina, of course.
Yeah. So apologies if I get the name wrong. Nisa or Nisa, invite you on stage. Please have a go at unmuting.
Hi.
Hello, how can we help you today?
Thanks for all your help, Hospitable, and making this a smooth transition. I guess I just have a couple questions. Some of them kind of got answered, but basically we don't want to do anything and we don't want to go into Airbnb and change any prices. Everything's being done by Hospitable, and that overrides everything on pricing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I went to the Airbnbs on a roadshow the other day, and I went to it, and I'm wondering if you do a discount, if I put a discount in on Hospitable, because that overrides everything, and that's going to apply back into my Airbnb, will it show the slash through and that the discount is being applied there if it's coming from Hospitable?
The slash through that you see is not really in our control. Airbnb calculates that. It's based on your 60-day median price that you're sending them. And when they see a 10% or more drop, that's when you get the slash through. So what's going to happen now is, because they forced all of you to change your fee structure, you're now going to be sending a higher price to Airbnb, even though the price to the guest isn't really changing. So they're kind of penalizing you. I'm sorry about that. And you're going to have to wait for your median price to kind of reset to the new levels before you start to see that, what they call merchandising of those discounts.
So because what they're saying basically is, if you're on a PMS channel and you are not syncing up with them, the slash will not show. And it, like, if you put a slash through and you put it into Airbnb, it actually brings you up in the algorithms because you're offering a special. But if yeah. So how's that working now? Like, is it gonna show, or did it ever show? I didn't even know.
It does show. It won't show for a while now, just because of what they've done with the fee structure changing. But it has nothing to do with that. Has nothing to do with us being a PMS. Once you start having a 10% or more discount on your 60-day median price, the slash will show. That is available to all of our customers as well.
Okay, okay. So, and just do everything. Basically, what you're saying in this whole thing is do everything from Hospitable platform. Don't go into Airbnb and change anything. Just make all the adjustments here. Correct?
So if you're using us as property management software, we're expected to be your source of truth on pricing. There are some discounts that you can, promotions you run from Airbnb, but for the most part, your pricing strategy is controlled at the property management level. So in Hospitable.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Next question, we have Anthony. Welcoming you on stage. If you can please unmute and ask your question.
Hey guys, thanks for your time today.
Thank you. How can we help you?
Yeah, so I just asked a question in the chat and I think it kind of got answered, but if you guys confirm, that would be great. This 18.34, does that make it the same fee structure for hosts that would be like on a split fee structure? Like the price that guests see when they go to book, go to check out.
I think I understand what you're getting at. So if you marked up on the split fee the same way to basically neutralize that 3% host fee you're getting on the split fee, plus the 14, 15, 16% guest fee, if you do the same strategy by marking up to avoid the commission, does that influence the actual fee to the guest, correct?
Yes.
It's almost the same. So we've done a lot of these calculations. Like, there's a slight difference. I think the last one I did, it was 0.6% higher when you mark up on the host fee, just because of the way that it's done. But it's pretty much a wash. Yeah.
Okay, and then the thinking behind the also marking up the cleaning fee is that Airbnb will take out their new fee structure from the entire revenue, correct?
Right, right. So you were losing like 3% of that, maybe that $100 cleaning fee before, $3. Most people weren't really paying attention to it. Now it's 15.5%. So you're only getting what, $84.50 from that $100 cleaning fee. Now that's a bit more meaningful. So now it's appropriate to really respond to that and make sure that you're getting your expectation on those fees.
Okay.
And to be clear, that's not a change. The fact is that your 3% were applied already to the subtotal, but because it's a bit more meaningful now at 15.5%, that means we kind of need to have an action. So that means either you increase the cleaning fee yourself, or basically we do it for you. And so that's why we've performed this in this action. We're now giving you a chance to edit it yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
I just wanted to share for the people that have raised their hands that we have more than 15 people that are raising their hand and are waiting in the queue. So I just want to say that we probably will not go to every single question to every single person that is raising their hands. However, that doesn't mean it's the end of it. First, you can always send a message to our support team, including with the AI that we've went through 2 weeks ago. That basically can answer all your questions, and you can ask definitely all the question to be asking about the math, etc. It's actually really good at it. So go give the AI a chance. If you have specific issues, please make sure that you also escalate it there, because that allows us then to keep track and make sure our engineering team puts a pin on it. Although definitely they are looking at all the issues and all the things that basically may be happening. And if you have a need for escalation, send it me an email directly, pc@hospitable.com. pc@hospitable.com. I can send you an email. You can send me an email, and I will forward that to the right person. So, and now we have Gertrude. Or Gertrude, I don't know how to say it as well. There's probably an accent thing. So yeah, how can we help you today? Hello.
I think I haven't heard the answer for that, but will the updated pricing automatically sync with our current pricing tool we're actually using beyond pricing on our end, or will we need to make manual adjustment there as well?
It's not expected that you make any adjustments. Beyond pricing will send to Hospitable the base price. Your base price should not be changing. And we will push that price from beyond pricing to the different booking platform, including Airbnb, with the markup rate. So that basically the fee that you have set or that we have set, that basically allows you to net to offset your commission fees and maybe some other value that you may have set prior. It's the same for Price Labs or for Wheelhouse. It's the same, obviously, for users of Hospitable dynamic pricing. We do not expect that you should be changing your base price configuration on assumption. We will be receiving the base price, pushing the correct value on the booking platform, as every property management software is doing.
All right. Just wanted to check with that. Since we see 18.34% already adjusted for Airbnb and Hospitable. So with that being said, overriding it from beyond pricing will not make changes for that, or will change all of it.
You don't have to change anything. If you have set 100 yesterday, you should be setting 100 again today, and same tomorrow. There is nothing. Yeah, sorry.
We haven't yet.
Then don't do anything. It's all good.
Okay, got it.
You're doing fine. That's where on Hospitable is determining what the price should be on Airbnb, and that is based on your markup.
Got it.
The pricing software that you guys are using are always about generating the nightly price, and then it's the job of the PMS to take care of the distribution. Okay, thank you, Gertrude, for asking this on stage. It's a welcome clarification. Next, we have Gang.
Your guess is as good as mine. Hello, Gang.
Hello, gang. Sorry?
Thank you. I just have a question about Hospitable and the price labs working together. So, for example, if we have $100 set on price labs, right, and it's coming to Hospitable, and Hospitable is going to change it to, like $118 or something and push to Airbnb, right? But the way price labs works is to look at all the listings around there on Airbnb and estimate what is the market price and how, then say if they're aiming for the average, then Price Labs in the future is going to price my price to be, say, 118 to be comparable to all the properties around me. And then that gets fed into Hospitable, and Hospitable is going to add a markup on that again. So I'm just trying to figure out how is it going to work out in the future when Price Labs adjusts its price.
And that is a very good question. So first of all, let me reassure you straight up. There is the host-only fee at 15% is not an invention. It's already been applicable in Australia, in all of Europe, in South America. It's only now being released to North America. So there's already been a lot of data sanitization on the price, on the other side of those services that are scraping fees from Airbnb and are trying to determine what the rate is there. So you're already coming into play in a situation where all the vendors and the suppliers of data to PriceLab or PriceLab themselves, they've already taken that into account. So there is nothing new under the sun. There is already an idea that there are some that are on split fee and some that are on the host-only fee. And we want to determine basically what the right rate. And it's very transparent. Of course, when you're running a simulation for a price on Airbnb, you know which ones are going to be available on the service fee, on the split service fee, or on the host-only fee. You have this little badge telling you that the host is covering the service fee on Airbnb. So that basically explains why you don't have the Airbnb service fee line when the guest is booking. So normally, I would expect things are going to be fine from your dynamic pricing software, including if that is hospitable. What I'm wondering about is not the data revenue, the data from revenue management is actually going to be the impact on the prices that are coming up when, unlike hospitable, users themselves have to be personally making the adjustment, as it is the case on other property management software in the industry, in which case there may be a lagging time during which those hosts, those property managers in particular, have not yet set the appropriate markup, which I believe is going to exist. And as a result, that may mean they will be underpriced. And therefore, so 18% cheaper than the competition or that themselves a day prior. And that may be resulting in a bit of a price shock. I believe Price Labs and many are taking that into account and are not going to trust 100% of the data right now, because what they do not want to have is basically compound that data that has not, the pricing of those listings that has not yet been adjusted, and then compound that, taking that as a good market signal and then offering to lower your prices basically automatically to match with those new competitive rates. That's the thing that we're actually, by taking that productive stance that I was talking about earlier, we're trying to protect our customers from it, but also the rest of the markets that they are in, to basically not have a bit of a race to the bottom until prices stabilize. Which that's the part that we're curious about what's going to happen moving forward.
So can I ask a follow-up question to that really quick?
Go ahead. Shoot.
In the future, like, right now there's a lot of changes and some people get onboarded earlier or later. So after all that stabilizes in the future, I was just thinking about, because I have properties that were on the old fee structure that gets upgraded now, or some newer properties that was just, got onboarded with the new fee structure, right? So in the future, I say a month or two later, I was thinking about maybe I should just change everything, adjust the price, my base price in Price Labs to, what the current one is, maybe up that a little bit, and then just get rid of all the marks as being Hospitable so that all my properties are on the same page or they're comparable. Just as if I onboarded all the properties now.
Yeah, so I I don't like that idea. I'm biased. It can work. If you basically update your base price by the percentage that you would like, Price Lab is going to generate rates that are basically going to have maybe a greater amplitude, but then we're going to be receiving it and then applying a markup of 0. That will work. The problem is that it's not really the way a property management software is expected to be working. And so we want to know what is the rate that is applied to you to offset the commissions. And there are a lot of features that basically are depending on it. So one of the things we're adjusting, for example, in case of Mogul, is basically using that for understatement. And that may not be applicable to you, but the markup is actually an interesting feature to be having and use as a part of Hospitable. Just one thing to note, because that may be a good opportunity, the host-only fee is set at your account level. So you will have, if you have connected your Airbnb host account to Hospitable, after that migration, there will be all your listings on Airbnb will be on the same host-only fee, whether they're synced with Hospitable or not. And the third part, for everybody considering this, the point of the markups is to facilitate the distribution. That means moving to Vrbo, moving to Booking.com, and of course, moving to your direct booking website. And so having a markup at 0 is kind of very negative when you start distributing to multiple channels with different price points to you as a host. So that's what I would recommend you use for markups. It's basically set our recommended value at the minimum, the amount that it takes to offset from the commission, and then basically maybe add a bit of a premium to express a preference as to the strategy. I think, for example, it's fair to have higher markup on Vrbo because typically our Vrbo guests are more affluent. I hope I'm right, but that basically is something that I've heard very often. And the same on direct, you can find a better balancing point. So basically, not just get paid the same as you would be on Airbnb and passing all the discounts and savings to the guests, but actually be able to create a bit of a greater opportunity for yourself. So making more, netting more on your direct booking platform. So that's basically what I would go with recommending that. Thank you, gang. We're gonna go with the next one, who is Indigo. Indigo, you can come on stage. Thank you, Miles.
Hi.
Hello, how can we help you?
I put my question a few times trying to word it correctly. This was like a really confusing process for us, just understanding. So we went globally to our settings and changed the markups there globally, not individual property a few months ago. And we put in like 30% for booking.com because they're so painful to deal with. So we really didn't care if they booked or not. And if they paid 30% more, it's fine. So our goal is, and then we put a GOTA, and then someone said, oh, but you can't take a GOTA anyway. So you don't need anything in that box because we're in Florida. But we changed VRBO and we changed Airbnb percentages. So that's what we currently have right now on our global page. But on our individual property page, I think we now see what we confirmed, the hospitable recommended starting point percentages. So I think that's different at that property level. So, and I understand I can delete the property level and put those numbers, that Airbnb number, back at the global level, and I'll be fine. So that's fine. I can do that. But now that I'm doing that with Airbnb, I don't know what I should put in my boxes so that my direct booking site on Hospitable is always 5% below all the OTAs.
Which, yeah, I wish there was someone smarter than me to do the math, but I totally get it, and I think that totally makes sense. So thank you for bringing it up. I think that's also something that you can set on the channel view. So on the general. So first of all, sorry.
Well, globally.
Yeah,
so
on the
my
global.
question, like right now, I want to type a number in those boxes so that our direct site on Hospitable is 5% below Agoda, Booking.com, VRBO, and Airbnb. What number do I type? Like, how do I do this calculation? That's what I need to put in like right now.
Okay. You know, it is when you're doing math and there's someone behind your shoulder. There's 200 of you that basically are behind my shoulder right now. And they basically, if I'm dropping any number,
And
it's
I've been
gonna
asking support this over and over for the past 5 days, and they don't respond on that question.
if you're asking for a human, it's going to take some time. Please go ask Finn. I think it can basically make it up. And so as a support us array about ChatGPT doesn't judge, and this doesn't judge. Especially if you want to basically have a 5% on the guest price paid, etc. You having a host-only fee on direct as well?
Yes, that is correct. On my direct website with Hospitable, Dawn, I think she helped me pick the 7% where the guest does not see it. It's
Host-only
not
fee.
split. So I did that already. That's done. And now that I have that, I don't know what to, and I took the Hospitable recommended. I don't know what to put in the Airbnb box.
Eli is having a bit more latitude than I have in the chat. Eli is a very smart person, definitely. If you have your markup at 14.79, then for the direct, you can put a 9.1%. I don't know what's, I feel stupid, but basically.
On my actual global page, my property setting.
On your global page, go for something around 9%.
So, okay, because if I look at that property, it's the 18 point percent. Are you just subtracting the 7?
No, because you cannot just do subtraction. You have to do multiplication all over to basically. So Eli is, if you have 18.34, you do 12.42. So that's the difference. But Eli is also saying you're worrying too much. Thank you. I think you should be being on stage, Eli, at this point. But
wait, I'm confused. So do I need a
do 12? Do 12. I trust Eli on the math here. So have 12% markup on direct to basically have some savings on your direct, on the price that your direct guests are paying.
Okay, and my Airbnb is going to stay the whatever it is.
18.34%, which is basically the wash rate. So the amount that it takes to offset the commission amount.
Okay, and then my direct, I'm going to make that 12% approximately. And 12%. Then what about VRBO and Booking.com?
So that is not something I'm going to answer at all because it varies a lot depending on where you are, etc., and what's the things that you have.
I'm in Florida.
And do you have pay by booking and things? No, I'm not going to give you a straight answer on this one.
How would I go about figuring that out? When you say pay by booking, like I don't even know how to start figuring it out.
Oh, do you want to favor booking? No, I think you were saying that you have a 30% markup for booking.
Well, for Booking.com, I just put 30% and just randomly because I thought that would make them pay more.
It does.
Okay, great. But for VRBO, what do I put? Like, how do I even think about
that? Depends on the commission that you have. Indigo, I'm not going to be able to answer you straight away because there are other people that are going to be listening and they are going to be taking that value as well. And it's not what is true for direct and is true for Airbnb is not true for Vrbo for booking. So therefore, I will receive an email for somebody that has listened and they will say they're suing Hospitable for $1 billion on doing that. So yes, this is also the kind of thing we're dealing with. So
okay, so how we even go about thinking of?
You need to first have the job. So what is the job that you're trying to accomplish? Are you trying to have a neutral rate that's offsetting the commission, or do you want to have a premium on those guests? And then you need to determine what that premium is.
No. VRBO, we just want to cover the basic commission.
Then look at what the price that what are the service fees that are applicable to you. Look at the last reservation that you have on Vrbo. Look how much is the percentage of fees that they've been charging you. And then if it's 5%, you need to make sure that basically you don't just add 5%, it's going to be adding more because basically that's the price that they have to take out of the amount. So Miles or anyone,
I think it's probably best, Indigo, if you follow up on community on community.hospitable.com. If you shoot us a question there, maybe Eli will save us there, but no pressure on you, Eli. But we can follow up there. If you drop us a question on community.hospitable.com, we can look into the exact specifics for you.
Okay.
We'll receive it there. Yeah, good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miles.
Okay, thank you.
I think we're gonna go and take 2 more questions.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Next up, we have Danielle. Danielle, welcoming you on stage. Hello.
Hello. How can we help you, Danielle?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm just asking I'm a co-host, and so all fees go directly to the owners. I don't use owner statements. I have a bookkeeper that goes in and then invoices all the owners. I know that we're kind of relying on you to do all the markups, and it all seems great, but how are we we have some owners asking, well, does that mean you're getting a raise that we haven't agreed to? Do you guys have a plan for that?
Yes. So now that we performed a one-time change, we are going to allow you by the end of this week to basically directly edit the cleaning fee that you have on the platform. So basically, you can define the amount that you're going to be that you are going to have on the platform on the platform directly. So if you want to revert it back, you can revert it back, enter back the same value. That's probably the value that you have in an agreement with the owner as well.
Okay, so for instance, if the nightly rate booking fee is $100 and the pet fee is, let's say, $100, and it gets marked up, I mean, we really shouldn't be still getting more than I'm trying to explain this
On
correctly.
Hospitable, you can now change those fees. So you can go onto the property details and you can look at those fees and set the fees. Now, the problem that we have in this user interface, based on the feedback that we've been receiving, is that you input the pre-markup price, and then we apply the markup and we push the platform fee. The thing that we are going to be changing is that we will allow you to set the platform fee directly as you want it to be without any math involved. We just tell you how much you're netting out, but that's basically is irrelevant here for the job that you're having, because you're not netting out, you're netting 100% as part of the payout. So you can go onto property details, you go to the pricing section, and then you are going to be able to basically calculate and see, enter the value that you want to be having for those fees. You can now do this. It's new from today.
Okay. And so then at the end of the month, when we're looking through, will it be broken down so we can see, like our bookkeeper can see what they need to be charging to make it comparable than to before?
I think, Connor, what are you using to export the data?
Honestly, at this point, I think she's just going into the details of Hospitable. She's not exporting anything. She's just kind of going per property, per listing. I'm sorry, per booking.
Per booking. You will see on the reservation financials, you will be able to see the breakdown as it exists today. Yeah.
Okay.
To be clear, that's only going to be impacting reservations that are booked from the moment of the migration. Okay,
yes.
The reservation that you have now and for the next few days are going to be still on the split fee because they were booked before the migration. It's only from new reservations from now that basically are going to be under the migration. So by that time, we'll have a new interface that's a bit more user friendly, that will basically make it work.
Okay,
for you
great.
to set the platform fee anyway. That's something that we're going to be working on end of this week. I don't know if we're going to be able to make it end of this week, but that's the intention that we have, is going to be making it super easy for you to be setting. In fact, there's code to be removing on our account. Go ahead, Danielle.
Oh, sorry. And then for owner statements, is that just for Mogul? Is that the only place that owner statements are available if we were to switch?
That is indeed correct. That is on Mogul. We generate the owner statements. You are able to set the commission arrangements that you have set up with your owners. You also have a QuickBooks integration. You have a mini P&L that can tell you how much money you are receiving as a particular co-host or property manager. We call them owner statements whenever the property manager is receiving the fee, but that can basically be working as an invoice whenever you basically are claiming money from your owners, from your clients directly, and we support both cases. So it's actually a good thing to be checking out. if you basically have a growing business that's ready to scale, because we want to help you here. We want to help you on counting the numbers and the beans right. And we've seen tremendous success across property managers that are using Mogul, on top of the other features that also make it super valuable, in particular Inbox AI. So we automate all the messages, including out of office hours or on weekends, so that you can still have interaction with your guests.
Yeah, perfect.
Without ruining your sleep.
Yeah.
So that all that Mogul is great for.
All right, great. I'll check it out.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
We are 30 minutes overdue. Miles is getting frustrated. Ursula will be the next one and the last one.
Yeah.
Miles is
Okay.
never frustrated. Have you
Never
seen Miles?
frustrated. Come on, be
Someone
safe.
has said on the chat that I was so gracious. I just mind blown.
I was mesmerized.
It was 20 minutes ago. I'm still processing it. Ursula, you're the last one. Let's make it count. How can we help you today?
Okay. Well, I have asked a couple of times, but basically, you guys have done this for us. We don't need it. Like when PriceLab resyncs, it's not going to change anything. We don't have to worry about our cleaning fees, our prices, anything for the time being right now. You guys have done it all for us. Is that correct?
That's thank you, Ursula. That I could not have dreamt of a better question to be wrapping it up. I almost brought to tears. But yeah, that's the job.
Perfect. So Price Labs won't resync. It won't change anything. You guys just added that on there. We
have always been in charge of distributing the price to to Airbnb and Vrbo or Booking.com or your direct booking website. That has never changed. It's just a change of the value.
Okay. So we just gotta relax, let it go, and things will be fine.
Yeah. Can I suggest a margarita?
Yes.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yes, absolutely.
There is probably a law somewhere in one country that says no, you cannot. But basically, you can have a mocktail instead if you prefer.
Well,
but
perfect.
Yeah,
thank you all so much. It's a relief. I was going in and trying to figure this all out, and so having it done is awesome. Really appreciate it, and I'm just gonna let it go and have you guys do your thing.
Yeah, and that's fine to be concerned. That's fine to be worried. That's fine to check, trust, but verify always, all the time.
Yep.
So yeah, but
Just
that
wanted
was
to
our
check.
intention.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Okay. Perfect. I'm gonna go relax now.
Good. I'm
All
gonna
right,
go
thanks.
pat myself on the back. Thank you, everybody.
All right, bye-bye.
It was a great time. We were not anticipating that to be a great time. I hope we answered all of your questions. There are plenty of people I see that have still been their hands raised. Please send me an email to pc@hospitable.com. Get to our support team. Do not bypass the AI. It's probably the best at this point in time for doing any kind of math. Explain what you're trying to achieve, and it will basically do it for you. And we will meet again on Wednesday for a fast follow with the rest of the listing management work. How Hospitable is going to help you manage all your property content, including creating listings elsewhere, including creating properties for all property managers that are still online with us, so that they can create more of their properties for their owners at lightning speed, and it was a great experience. Thank you to the team that's been staying a little bit longer for this Q&A, and yeah, meet you soon on Wednesday for the next